Good afternoon and welcome to this lecture on mechatronics, in which we are going to see this new syllabus included in this semester. So the first part is they have included some new sensors, in which first will be LIDAR. So what is meaning of LIDAR? LIDAR is nothing but laser imaging detecting and ranging equipment, and it is a method of determining variable distance by targeting an object with a laser and measuring the time for the reflected light to return to the receiver. So it will give you the exact distance of any object with the help of light emitting device. So the formula here, it has been given. The distance is equal to C into T divided by 2. LIDAR can also be used to make a digital three-dimensional representation of areas on the Earth's surface and ocean bottom due to differences in the laser return times and by varying laser wavelengths. LIDAR sometimes is called as 3D laser scanning, a special combination of 3D scanning and laser scanning. Components used in LIDAR, it is laser beam. For non-scientific applications, wavelength range is 600 to 1000 nanometers. For military applications, it is 1550 nanometer. 1 nanometer is 10 raised to minus 9 meters. Phased array. The phased array, it illuminates any direction by using microscopic array of individual antennas. So these are two components used in LIDAR. Now, what are the applications? You'll see there are applications in agricultural robots for seed and fertilizer dispensing, sensing techniques. It can create a topographical map of the field. It is used to monitor insects in the field. Controlling weeds requires identifying plant species. This can be done by using 3D LIDAR and machine learning. Archaeology, in which planning of field campaigns, mapping features under forest canopy, and overview of broad continuous features indistinguishable from the ground. Autonomous vehicles use LIDAR for obstacle detection and avoidance to navigate safely through environments. You might be knowing today this MG Aster has been launched, and it is using this technique of obstacle detection. LIDAR speed guns are used by the police to measure the speed of vehicle for speed limit enforcement purpose. Everyone might have gone through this LIDAR speed gun. So I'm not explaining much, but this is the one of the application of this LIDAR. Then the second, you can say, sensor added was ED current sensor, in which we are going to see it uses ED current formation principle to sense the displacement. ED currents are formed when moving or changing magnetic field intersect a conductor or vice versa. The relative motion causes a circulating flow of electrons or currents within the conductor. These circulating eddies of current create electromagnets with magnetic field and oppose the effect of applied magnetic field. The stronger the applied magnetic field, or greater the electrical conductivity of the conductor, or greater the relative velocity, of motion, the greater the currents developed. And greater the opposing field. ED current probes senses this formation of secondary field to find out the distance between the probe and the target material. This is the schematic of inductive proximity ED current sensor, in which there will be amplitude detecting circuit and output circuit will be there. This oscillating circuit will create some magnetic field, high frequency magnetic field. And if any target comes inside the field, then it can detect its proximity or its distance from the particular object. Now the third one, that is MEMS accelerometer. MEMS means micro electromechanical systems accelerometer. In this they measure the static or dynamic force of the acceleration. It is an electromechanical device used to measure acceleration forces. Such forces may be static, like the continuous force of gravity, or in the case with many mobile devices, you can say dynamic to sense the moment of vibration. You can get the vibrations with the help of MEMS devices. Now, what is the working principle? All accelerometer works on the principle of mass on a spring. It can sense even the vibration of a micro scale. In this type of accelerometer, the change in capacitance are detected instead of change in resistance. Most of the mobile devices use this MEMS accelerometer. Should be known to you. According to Newton's law of inertia, the mass wants to remain stationary due to its inertial force, and therefore the spring is stretched or compressed, creating a force which is detected and corresponds to the applied acceleration. Force is equal to mass into acceleration. We have seen in Newton's law. It can also measure static forces like gravity or dynamic forces which are in phones and laptop devices. Okay. This is the construction of MEMS accelerometer. You can see here a fixed plate is there, one moving plate is there, and this moving plate mass is moving with respect to spring, and that's why we can calculate the acceleration with the help of that particular device. So this is a regular accelerometer mechanism. This is piezoresistive and this is capacitive kind of accelerometer. So these are all the constructions of MEMS accelerometer. Now pyrometer, the next topic is pyrometer. Now what is pyrometry? It is an optical system which will detect the temperature of hot body with the help of the rays and lens. So this optical system, we can see here optical lens is there, and this is measuring instrument. This black body temperature detector is there. So with the help of the radiations from hot body, we can calculate the actual temperature of this object. And this has been used in COVID situation from last 1.5 years. You might have seen infrared pyrometers. We'll see in the next slide. The optical system will capture the energy emitted from the object. Then the radiation is sent to the detector, which is very sensitive to waves of radiation. The temperature of detector analyzed by using a level of radiation is directly proportional to the object's temperature. So there are two types of pyrometers. Optical pyrometers are used in industries, and this IR infrared pyrometers are used in medical applications. We'll see. When the temperature of object, this, and sorry, the temperature of object and the surface is same, then the thermal radiation intensity caused due to the filament merges into the targeted object's surface and become invisible. The current passing through filament is converted into temperature level. Now you can see here hot object, lens, mirror, and adjustable eyepiece is there. This is temperature detector and this is temperature indicator. So this has been used from very you can say around 50 to 60 years back. It has been invented and it has been used in industry for temperature detection. But this infrared thermometer or radiation thermometer you might have seen in COVID. Everywhere there is in COVID situation, we are using this type of thermometer. So this is called as non-contact type of thermometer used to detect temperature of object object's surface temperature, which depends on the radiation emitted from the object. They are designed to detect thermal radiation in infrared region, which is usually a distance of 2 to 14 micrometer. So it is around 2 centimeter to 14 centimeters distance. Infrared pyrometers are made up of pyroelectric material like polyvinylidene fluoride (PVDF) or triglycerin sulfate (TGS) or lithium tantalate. Lithium tantalate, it is lithium tantalate oxide. So that has been used. Now this is the construction of this infrared pyrometer. You can see here absorption screen. This is filter and this is eyepiece. From eyepiece, whatever radiations are coming here, that will be from eyepiece we are going to detect the output, and from lens there will be heated source radiations will come inside that particular object, and this device of rheostat battery PMMC meter will detect the temperature of that particular object. Advantages: it is a non-contact type of measurement in COVID-19 situation. Fast response time, good stability while measuring the temperature of object. It can measure different type of objects temperature at variable distance. Disadvantages: they are expensive and rugged. Accuracy of device can be affected due to the different conditions like dust, smoke, or thermal radiation, as well as the human intervention. So the distance also matters when temperature is to be calculated. Applications: to measure the temperature of moving object or constant object from greater distance in metallurgy industries, in smelting industries. It has been used from last 50-60 years. Hot air balloons to measure the heat of the top of the balloon. Steam boilers to measure the steam temperatures, to measure the temperature of liquid metals and highly heated materials, and to measure the furnace temperatures, in which normal thermometers will not work. Now the next sensor is piezoelectric sensor. We are going to see. Then piezoelectric sensor, it is device which is using piezoelectric effect to measure the change in pressure, acceleration, temperature, strain, or force by converting them into electric charge. The prefix piezo is Greek for press or squeeze. Due to that squeezing action, there will be change in electric charge, and that we are going to detect. The ability of piezoelectric material to convert mechanical stress into electric charge is also called as piezoelectric effect. Generated piezoelectricity is proportional to the pressure applied to solid piezoelectric crystal material. This is the schema. This is the actual photograph of piezoelectric sensor. The materials used are PZT ceramic, or we can call it piezoelectric ceramic, and single crystal materials such as quartz crystal has been used. This is a reversible effect, means when we apply the mechanical stress, there will be electric charge. When we release, the charge will be disappearing. This one, hot wire anemometer. The hot wire, it is device used for measuring the velocity and direction of the fluid. This can be done by measuring the heat loss of the wire which is placed in the fluid stream. The wire is heated by electric current. The construction is very simple. This Wheatstone bridge will be created, and in which there will be small wire will be introduced in one of the particular resistance bridge, and the conducting wire is housing inside the ceramic body. The wires are taking out from the ceramic body and connecting to the Wheatstone bridge. The Wheatstone bridge measures the variation of resistance. Now you know that is, if the gas is flowing from one direction to another direction, the gas will cool this particular coil, and due to that cooling effect, there will be change or difference in this Wheatstone bridge resistance, and that resistance can be calculated with the help of rheostat and battery, and that we are going to measure. So that is the construction and working of hot wire anemometer principle. working here is when given. There are two methods: constant current and constant temperature method. It is in constant current method, it is kept in fluid flow where speed of the liquid flow can be calculated. From the wire, a constant magnitude level of current is passed. The Wheatstone bridge is maintained at a steady voltage level. When the wire is placed in the liquid flow, then heat transfer takes place to liquid from the wire. The heat has a direct relation to the wire's resistance. When heat value reduces, the wire's resistance also get decreased, and with the help of that, we can calculate the speed of the liquid flow. That is the working principle. In constant temperature method, wire gets heated by the electric current. The hot wire ammeter is kept in the fluid flow where speed of liquid to be calculated. When the wire is placed in the liquid flow, then heat transfer takes place to liquid from wire. A similar case, the change in wire's temperature value also modifies the resistance value, and it is operated on the principle that temperature level of the wire to be remaining constant. The whole current that is required to bring the wire into starting condition is similar to gas speed flow. So we are going to keep the temperature constant, and whatever the current required will give you the proportion of speed flow. Now, color sensors have been introduced. What is it? What we mean by color sensors? These sensors are RBG types of sensors, that is red, blue, and green detection sensors. So in this, the equipments used in color sensor are light source to illuminate the material, surface whose color has to be detected, and the receiver which can measure the reflected wavelength. Color sensors contain a white light emitted to illuminate the surface. Three filters with wavelength sensitivity of 580 nanometer, 540 nanometer, and 450 nanometer to measure the wavelengths of red, green, and blue colors respectively. You can see there is wavelength difference 580, 540, and 450 in red, green, and blue colors. Based on the activation of these filters, the color of material is categorized. So this is the simplest kind of RBG sensor. This photograph is shown here. This sensor can be used in various applications, just like robotics and industrial applications. We'll see advantages and disadvantages. It helps in sorting of objects. Automated system can be built using color sensors. Powerful and large memory color sensor ICs are available at low cost, and it is easy to change or modify manufacturing setups without even reprogramming the sensor device. This is beneficial in low volume manufacturing application, but there are several disadvantages also, because in small scale industry this approach is costlier. It does color matching or identification application requiring only pass fail output. So it cannot, you can say, detect the colors other than this matching colors. Operating distance range of color sensor are matter of concern. These need to be chosen appropriately with rigorous testing in the setup. So it needs some vicinity, and that's why they may have some disadvantages. Now the biosensors. Biosensor is device which converts a biological signal into a more useful electrical signal. Biosensor is an analytical device that detects changes in biological process and convert them into electrical signal. We'll see two biosensors here, two types of biosensors. We'll firstly see the working, and then we'll go towards that. Excuse me. Working of biosensor, the combination of biological sensitive element and transducer will convert the biological material into a corresponding electrical signal. Depending on the type of enzyme, the output of the transducer will be either current or voltage. Signal conditioning unit, if the output is voltage, then well and good. But if output is current, then we have to condition it with the help of op-amp based voltage converter. The output voltage signal is usually very low in amplitude and superimposed on the high frequency noise signal. The signal is amplified and then passed through a low pass RC filter. Now we'll see first enzyme filter or enzyme biosensor. The term biological process can be any biological element or material like enzymes, tissues, microorganisms, cells, acids. So glucometers, you might have occurred with this. Glucometer is nothing but it detects the body glucose with the help of some trigger electrode and working electrode. So there are three electrodes. One is trigger, one working, and one reference electrode. So in which the test they consist of test strip which collect a small sample of blood to analyze glucose level. This particular sensor implement the electroenzymatic approach, that is oxidation of glucose. So this is the simplest kind of enzyme sensor or glucometer sensor which we use in daily application. That the people with high sugar use this in a daily application. Then second, that is electrocardiography. It is the process of producing electrocardiogram, ECG or EKG. It is a graph of voltage versus time of the electric activity of the heart using electrode space on the scale. The ECG, you might have heard this word, ECG, electrocardiography. There are three main components of ECG: P wave, QRS complex, and T wave. We are not going to go in details of this terminology because we need only how this electromagnetics principle works. The theory is based on electromagnetics and divided into four following points. Depolarization of heart toward the positive electrode produces a positive reflection. Depolarization of heart away from the positive electrode produces a negative deflection, and towards the positive electrode produces negative deflection. Away from the positive electrode produces a positive repolarization of heart towards the positive electrode produces negative, and repolarization of heart away from the positive electrode produces positive deflection. So depolarization and repolarization are these two terminologies. The overall direction of depolarization and repolarization produces positive and negative deflection on each lead stress. Electrodes are actual conductive pads attached to the body surface. They have been put here on total body. Commonly, 10 electrodes attached to the body are used to form 12 ECG leads. Then electromyography, EMG. It is an electrodiagnostic medicine technique for evaluating the recording and electrical activity produced by skeletal muscles. EMG is performed using an instrument called as electromyograph to produce a record called as electromyogram. It detects the electrical potential generated by muscle cells when these cells are electrically or neurologically activated. The signal can be analyzed to detect medical abnormalities, activation level, or recruitment order, or to analyze the biomechanics of human or animal movement. In computer science, EMG is used as middleware in gesture recognition. So we are going to use this in gesture recognition for the particular robotic applications that you have to remember. An input of physical action to the computer as a form of human-computer interaction. We are going to use that. There are two kinds of EMGs. We have to remember: surface EMG and intramuscular EMG. We are not going to go in details of intramuscular EMG in engineering. Surface EMG is sufficient for us to detect the surface, you can say, activities of any object. So this is the schematic. So EMG electrode sensor, EMG recording, noise reduction, EMG feature extraction, dimensional reduction method, classifier, and pattern recognizer. So pattern recognizer, with the help of that muscle activities, we are going to detect. Now the last part of this particular chapter, that is hydraulic and pneumatic actuators. This actuators, two types of actuators have been introduced in new syllabus: hydraulic and pneumatic, and linear electric actuators. So what we mean by hydraulic actuators, actually we have studied it in fluid mechanics. These hydraulic actuators will work with the help of the piston cylinder arrangement and the differential between that is Pascal's law, difference between pressure. Pascal's law states that the pressure applied at the specific point to confined fluid in a container is transmitted equally in all directions. So we are going to use that particular application of Pascal's law. One side there will be motorized pump which will send the fluid from reservoir through control valve to opposite side of the cylinder. So with the help of that, we can actuate the actual actuator. So this is hydraulic, and there are some applications: jack, hydraulic brake, hydraulic ram. It can be used as sensor, closed loop velocity controlling, or high precise positioning of heavy loads. Similarly, pneumatic actuator is having same working principle, only there will be air or any gas will be used in pneumatic actuator. So compressed air acts upon the piston or paddle to move it in one direction. So this is pneumatic actuator schematic diagram. Okay, these are the advantages, disadvantages. There are certain temperature ranges are in that range. We can use pneumatic actuators. It offers ease of construction and requires less maintenance. These actuators are fire and explosion proof. Pneumatic actuators are less costly and low weight devices. Disadvantages are there. The output power will be obviously less than hydraulic actuator. The internal machine parts are not lubricated due to the use of air. The accuracy of produce output is somewhat less in low velocity operations, and these work efficiently only when used to specific applications. And the last part of this chapter is linear actuator. It is a device or machine that converts rotational motion into linear motion and linear moment. This can be done through electric, AC or DC motors. Linear electric actuator or generators are electromagnetic devices which develop directly short level progressive or oscillatory linear motion. So in this, you can say in this diagram, you can see here lead screw and motor is given. There is one arrangement of gearing system. The motor will be having 12 to 24 voltage input voltage. The motor and the screw converts the rotary motion of the motor shaft into linear motion of the piston rod of the electric linear actuators. So whatever there will be rotation of this motor will be converted with the help of this gearing system in linear output. The variation in gearbox help in achieving various configuration of motions like inline actuations and perpendicular actuations. Okay, students, you might uh, have questions in your mind why these all units have been included in your new syllabus, because all these points are new generation technologies, and that's why university has given weightage to them. Linear actuators will be used in all kind of robotic applications from in industry 4.0. So that's why these electric actuators are very important. Types of electric actuators: rod type, rodless, and rodless screw type or rodless belt drive actuators. Advantages are electric linear actuators are often high efficiency, low noise, and clean and zero pollution in operations, because it is working on electricity, so zero pollutions will be there. They does not require a compressor or a hydraulic station, only electricity is required. Electric linear actuators can reach precise positioning, hence it is perfect replacement of pneumatics and hydraulic cylinders. Just now we have seen pneumatic and hydraulic cylinders, and these electric actuators will be replacing this particular pneumatic and hydraulic cylinders. So if you are having any questions, you can ask me the questions. I'll just stop the screen recording so we can speak